Welcome to another edition of our On Air series for the City Business Festival 2025, brought to you by Absa Bank, MTN, and Zonda Technology. Tonight, we're talking to a friend who's been championing the cause of smallholder farmers using technology to give them information, access to finance, and also markets. He happens to also be the co-founder and CEO of Farmerline, and we'll be discussing the role of technology in agriculture today. Stay with us. Welcome back. So this is the On Air series for the City Business Festival 2025. This week we're focused on agric and agribusiness. I'm ending the week talking to a man I admire so much. He's built a fantastic globally recognized company, Farmerline. He's a co-founder and CEO of this organization. And today is going to help me understand the role of technology in agriculture, how his company is helping farmers get access to information, finance, and also, more importantly, markets. He's currently out of the country lobbying for more support for agriculture in Africa. Aloysius Atta, thanks for joining us for today's edition of the On Air series. Hi, Aloysius.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Bernard. Really excited to be here to share.
No, I mean, from 2013, I must say you've built a phenomenal company that is breaking all records. Can you, in a minute and a half, tell me the vision you had for Farmerline and 12 years down the line, how that's going?
The vision is very simple. Vision and mission is very simple. We want to create lasting profit for farmers, and the way we approach that is leveraging, digital tools and partnership. Partnership is very key. No one can do it all by themselves. So our model is using partnership and using digital tools to help farmers to make money. Making money is number one and the most important for me, because growing up in whole Volta region, I grew up with my auntie who was a farmer, and we would support on the weekend. And when you see many other farmers, making money has been what is priority to them. But when you look at what the industry does to support them, the industry is mostly trying to help them to just survive. And that's why Farmerline was founded with a very simple mission to leverage partnership and digital tools to help farmers to create wealth from their hard work.
Which means that you co-create the tools with the farmers. Since you use the word partnerships, talk me through that.
Yeah, like we truly listen, right, to the farmers. So let me give you two examples of two innovations that we built that we heard from the farmers. 2012, my partner and I, Emmanuel, when we built Farmerline, the first version was just an SMS application. Young coders, KNUST, were so passionate and proud of what we built. 6 months in the lab. We finally went to the field and we showed farmers that, hey, this is this SMS app that we built. We're actually like quite arrogant about it. That, hey, it's gonna, when we presented to the extension officers, we said like, this was gonna take their job away. The feedback that we got from the farmers and then the extension officers were like, hey, look, a lot of people in Ghana can't speak their local language, but they cannot write it. So if your primary medium for communicating with farmers in tree and all that is in writing, many people are still not going to be able to use it. That was harsh in the moment, but that led to what we call DALI AI right now. It speaks 27 African languages, AI that can communicate with anyone in their native language. At least today it speaks 27. That is one of our leading innovations right now, and it came from that feedback. Another innovation that came from farmers was just paying attention to how farmers work among themselves. They were lending to each other, giving money to each other based on knowledge that they have of each other and in each other's farm. So an example, Bernard, assuming you're a farmer, we live in the same village, let's say Ho, and you grow yam every year and then you sell 10 bags. And then you come to me to ask me for a loan, and the loan is worth 2 bags of yam. I make my credit decision based on the knowledge that Bernard next door sells yam every 10 bags. And I know your house, I know your parents, so I can give you money. So that was already happening in the community. We paid attention to that in 2016, and our current platform, Open Finance, that financial institutions are lending on top of, deploying over $40 million on top of, using alternative data. Not just collateral, but using intelligences from the farm, the yield data, climate data, and all those things, leveraging it. So those are just two examples of how we innovate at Farmerline by listening and building with farmers and for farmers.
When you started Farmerline, I know you were focused on smallholder farmers and subsistence farmers. Yeah. Now, of course, you deal with larger farmers and the smallholder farmers as well. But it will seem as if their basic problem is mechanization, right? So you move from subsistence tools to mechanization. So at what point does technology come into the farmers' problem solving, technologies that you've created? At what point do they need the kinds of things you are creating beyond the mechanization, which is the next level?
All types of farmers, whether small or commercial, in our view, need three things to succeed. The number one is access to the right information so they can grow food well. And number two is access to the right kind of capital. And I say the right kind of capital for a reason. It has to be timed to the risk that is in agriculture, but then also the growing season. Capital to get the mechanization, high quality seeds, and then access to market. So when people know how to grow, they get money to get their inputs, and then they grow their food, then they have to sell it to make their money. So all our innovations are around these three buckets. So we build tools that allows farmers to get access to information anytime, anywhere, on demand, in their natural language, in their native language. The problem that we are solving with that is that currently the number of people, extension officers on the ground that actually train farmers is limited. And the resources to actually travel back and forth to deliver information is also not there. So what we do, that tool was built to complement what extension officers do. So if an extension officer goes to a village and trains a farmer, all the reminders and questions that farmers have after that training can be answered digitally, so that the extension officers don't have to move to the community in order to answer those questions. So that's just one. And number two is also like around the financing, leveraging alternative data unlocks a lot of financing for people to actually get things like combined harvesters. Like in the places like northern Ghana, we are financing a bunch of farmers to get access to mechanization. And we do that in partnership with local financial institutions in the country who trust the work that we do with farmers, who trust the network of farmers that we've built, and they leverage our credit scoring to offer them financing. And then the final one, which is in access to market. Like when you grow all the food, you have to sell it. So we buy rice, maize, soybean, cashew. Some of them we export. If you're about to export, you need to comply with all the standards that the Europeans have around child labor, deforestation. We build a lot of tools to help companies to comply with those things cheaply, but then also at scale as well. So those are the roles that we play around agriculture across the value chain, end to end, not alone. Honesty, with partners, tracking companies, warehouse companies, even other agtech companies. We collaborate with them because to truly transform agriculture and put farmers on a path towards wealth creation, it is definitely a team sport. So anytime we build innovation, it's about how do we work with other people to get it to farmers with one singular focus, creating lasting profit and helping them make a lot of money.
So I understand the role of information as a need for farmers. I understand the role of finance and the role of markets. Some people talk about irrigation because a lot of farmers depend on rain-fed agriculture. Have you been thinking around tools to make it easier to do irrigation? I was interviewing the Irrigation Development Authority and I was told our irrigation is basically about less than 10% of our irrigation potential. Like the Volta Lake is massive, right? So how would technology help solve such a problem? Because if we have more water available all year round, we're certainly going to have more production.
Today we have what I call artificial seasons. And those artificial seasons are just because of rain. So in the north, planting is beginning now. Between now and September, the northern people are planting. The people in the south has already planted between March, and then they harvest in August. But if there's irrigation, all those dates go. You can plant from January to December. So that's the power of irrigation. Even if it's even more powerful and better for the environment if that irrigation is even solar. So the role that we play, what we focus on, we are aware of all these things. We know farmers need it. The fact is that all these things has been invented many, many years ago. Irrigation has been invented over 100 years, but it's not here. It's not widely adopted. Why? Two reasons. Distribution. So getting people to get into the country. We don't make them here. A lot of people have to import them. I know there are some startups that are trying to solve that right now, but largely it's still heavily imported. So we depend on other countries. If you depend on other countries, it means that the thing is not readily available. If it's not really available, many people cannot actually access it. The second one is money to actually buy it. Especially if you want to go and do solar irrigation, it's very expensive. It requires a lot of money upfront. And that's why tools like open finance actually make sense. If we scale open finance into like a national agricultural credit bureau, a lot of financial institutions can leverage it to deploy money for more people to be able to afford irrigation. If a lot of people are able to afford irrigation, people who are importing into the country, companies like Pump Tech and other companies that are working in this space, Sun Culture, Greeno in Ivory Coast, and all other great ag tech companies, they can be able to bring a lot more into the country. With increased demand, they can supply more. Some even go to the extent of actually building factories in the country to actually make them, to get a cost down. When the cost comes down, more adoption. So for us, we already know about the impact. Is well documented everywhere else around the world. But two things must be solved for that to achieve scale, to get a lot of people to go into irrigation that allow them to farm all year round, grow all year round, and make more money. There must be enough distribution and production of the equipment in the country, and there should be the right kind of financing that understands the risk of agriculture and has solutions for it, so that more and more people can be able to afford it and use it, and hopefully make more money.
This is a special edition of your On Air series. We're discussing the role of technology in agriculture. My guest is really one of the blue chip companies, I should say, coming from this part of the world, doing great things in terms of technology as a tool for agriculture. Aloysius Atta is the co-founder and CEO of Farmerline. And I'll tell you some of the things they've done when we come back. He would also now tell us some of the help they would offer. They're partnering with us on the Agri Fair, which is happening in a few weeks' time. And he'll be telling us some of the tools they can deploy to help some of our farmers as we get ready for that big event. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is the On Air series for the City Business Festival. We're focused on agriculture this week, and this is our fourth in the series for the week. We're sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN, and Zonda Technology. My guest is the co-founder and CEO of Farmerline, a company that is doing all kinds of things. For example, their AI-powered regenerative farming tool, DALI AI, was recognized as one of the Time magazine's best inventions of 2024. That is pretty serious. And Aloy's focus and his company essentially to do three things: provide information for farmers, help them get access to finance, and then give them access to markets. Now, Aloy, let's talk about markets for a bit. In our research before we decided to do the Agri Fair, we realized that the market problem is massive. Some farmers produce and they don't know where to sell. Sometimes they have a glut and egoists, and then they are not able to store enough to sell at high value when there's a scarcity. What is your conceptualization of the market problem, and how does technology help solve it from your end?
That's a good question. Thank you. The market problem is really sad. Farmerline, we get about $200 million worth of orders every year. So there are buyers around the world. They are like, hey, we want to buy food, and they have money they want to buy. But the thing is that big buyers, they want to buy in bulk, and they will not compromise on quality. On the farmers front, a lot of people grow without actually know what people want to buy, what people are actually buying. They don't know how much they want to buy for. They don't even understand the quality that is required. So a lot of people here, agriculture, there's money in it, so they just start without having access, knowing what the market is demanding. So because of this gap, a lot of people are unable to sell their food. Not because there's no demand. There is a lot of demand. Another problem that exists is infrastructure. When farmers grow food in rural areas, they can do all even if they follow the best practices, if there's not enough storage facilities for them to store the food, like what Nkrumah started by building silos across the country, if there's not enough storage, there will still be market problem. And finally, roads. These are things that digital platform, no AI in the world can fix bad roads or build warehouses. So for us, we build digital tools, but there are limitations on that. What we specifically do around helping people with our digital platform is to start from the beginning. The first step is when we get all these orders from people who want to buy, we let our farmers know of the quantity that people want to buy and then the quality that is required. So they get a chance to work their way, work their way backwards. So they have the quality in mind. Then we leverage tools like DALI AI to offer information, customized information to them, give them weather forecasts based on where their farm is. All these things help them to also improve the quality. As they are growing throughout the season, we are able to track who is growing what and how much they are growing, and we can then plan. That allows us to plan the logistics around it. And for you to track demand, we use satellite information in some cases for food crops, for vegetables, cereals, and grains. You can use satellite data at 3-meter resolution, take pictures every day, and then tell how much the food is growing and then the yield that is happening. We also go the old school route by physically sending people to the farm to actually inspect what is happening. So it is a mix of both digital for tracking, digital for training farmers so that they can improve yield, digital for tracing the food when it's moving from places like Tamale all the way to Accra. At times, the driver will stop 3 days in some village. We don't know what they're doing. But with digital tools, you can tell that, okay, this guy is lying. He stopped here. So all those things help you to minimize risk. But the true levers that make changes when it comes to access to market is old school infrastructure. People need a place to store things, and people need good roads to move things. And no amount of digital or AI is going to solve that. And that's where collaboration with government and other institutions come in to ensure that we continue to work collaboratively towards one goal, which is to create profit for farmers. But all those infrastructure, whether digital and physical, must be in place, and they must work together in harmony.
Which means that in trying to solve the farmers' problems, you are having to transform from a technology company to even a logistics company. Because to do the kinds of things you do, you are doing agric extension. You are sending your farmers to help you are sending your extension officers or your technology assistants to help the farmers know how to use the tool. You are gathering information from them. You are giving them quality standards, but you're also ensuring that they are producing according to the specification. And then now you are having to even help bring or track the goods. So in a sense, your company is changing in relation to the needs of the sector that you serve, correct?
Yeah, we are evolving, but we're not changing the core of who we are.
Okay.
The core of who we are is that we will remain a technology business,
okay,
and we will be the operating system for the rural area, for people to learn, move things back and forth. The reason why we don't want to become a logistics company is that there are many other tracking companies who do this already. But with the right operating system, with the right digital platform, they are able to get, for some of our partners who hold like about 100 trucks, they know the amount of business that we'll get from us every year, millions of business every year. So we build a platform, we put everyone together, we get financing and everything to move, and then we get people who are great at doing each of these things to come and do it. So we will remain a technology intelligence business that gives opportunity, that throws more light on risk that exists and offers solutions, but more importantly, doing it through partnerships. So we continue to remain true to who we are, which is a tech platform. But you're right, we are a tech platform that also brings more offline people to come in to make this work. Because in our part of the world, you need to collaborate. And you can't also do everything by yourself. For instance, we can't go and be the company that buys about 100 trucks and put it on our balance sheet, or the company that builds all the warehouses. Like that's just, that's just not the company that we want to be. So that's why we focus exclusively on building technology to throw more light on opportunities like this is for both farmers and partners, and then getting more partners to come and take advantage of it. And this is what we are very excited about when it comes to the agri fair, because the agri fair is bringing everyone together. Whether you're a farmer, whether you're a bank, you're agribusiness, a processor, like we work with all of them. So all of them coming together, and we bring in our technology. Hopefully, it's a match made in heaven. We're going to help Ghanaian farmers.
We'll come in a minute to what you do when the agri fair happens, but let's come back to information.
Yeah.
It seems to me as if a lot of farmers do what they do intuitively. They sense when they have to go and plant. They know what to do. How do you convince them to leave their intuition and say, let me listen to an AI tool telling me weather forecast or whatever is going to happen? It seems a bit far-fetched, because the way we conceptualize a typical smallholder farmer is somebody who's done this for many years and knows what to do. AI is at the extreme high end of technology, right? We're not even sure we understand where it's going. So you're basically bringing the future into one of the oldest professions. That's quite steep. How do you convince the farmers to even listen to you, and never mind listen to the AI chatbot telling them whatever it needs to tell them?
So you're right. First of all, farmers don't care about AI. They don't care about AI. They just want to get access to information. They want it when they want it. And you're right. Like, a lot of them make decisions based on intuition. Like, so the way you win trust with farmers is you just do or show. So if you say it's going to rain tomorrow, 11 o'clock, like it better rain tomorrow 11 o'clock. If it doesn't rain, we get a lot of calls from our helpline or people getting angry at us. So,
Okay.
and we get it all the time when we get it wrong.
Okay.
So people know. And then the information that we give to farmers is not fresh information. Remember, we are complementing what in-person extension officers do.
Okay.
They've gone to train people in person. We take the curriculum and then we train the AI on the curriculum. And then the AI is then able to offer reminders. The AI just plays a role around answering questions. But a bulk of the work that we do digital is sending messages to farmers based on their cropping calendar. So if we know that you're supposed to be planting next week and you're growing maize and you're in northern Ghana, we know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So we give you information based on that. That information is mostly pre-recorded by humans. So when we send it out, people pick it up and listen. They can hear and understand. When they have questions, they can call and understand. They can call and ask questions. They have options of talking to humans, but they have options that talk to AI as well. I must admit the AI's level of speaking Chui and Evan Hausa is not, at a human proficiency yet. But we are getting there. We are planning by the end of the month. We get to the level where when you speak, you can't even tell that you're talking to like an AI. Today, when you speak to you can he's speaking like old Chui and old Evan that most people have forgotten. So we are now trying to get into like
speaking
normal.
biblical ever.
Yes, biblical level, because a lot of that, so you already know. So there are limitations. There are limitations, but there are also big opportunities when we overcome those limitations. And opportunities are like, if we can imagine the amount of productivity that we can unlock, that no matter the language that you speak in Ghana, we have about 50 or so something like dialect. Where I speak in Mamkrusi, ever, the different types of ever, Bedouin, ever, Anglo, ever, you can call and speak and answer questions. Imagine the productivity that will be unlocked. Like if someone living in Keta can get access to the full power of ChatGPT or the full power of the internet or Google, and information can be given to them in their language that they understand. For us, this will transform many things. Imagine if, like, even going beyond agriculture, if the guy that is selling, when you're going to water, for example, people who put things by the roadside and just wait for someone to. Imagine if there's a tool that can let them know when people are going to come and when actually buy. So they don't sit there all day. They just say, like, okay, I know the peak selling hours. I'll just sit there for 2 hours and make my money. I go and do another business.
Wow.
This is what's happening in other parts of the world.
I'll be looking forward to seeing some of your tools in action during the fair proper. Talk to me about finance, though. You are not a bank, yet you are heavy on finance. How does your technology help crack the finance, which for many people is the biggest issue with agric in these parts? Explain how your finance solution works.
The only additionality that our open finance solution, which is what we are calling our solution for financial institution work, is that the only additionality is giving them visibility around climate risk and growing risk.
Okay.
Banks are really, really good at analyzing if a person is going to default or not. Do you have they can do all the financial diligence, in some cases even psychometry. They have their own credit scoring. So the differentiation is not about credit scoring. Everyone can build credit scoring. But we, for instance, we know where places in Ghana, not in Ghana, where there's going to be 50% less rain. And we know what happens if someone is growing rice there, if there's 50% less rain. So if you're a bank and someone has come for a loan from you in northern Ghana, and you don't know there's going to be 50% less rain, they can have the high harvest. They will still default because maybe they didn't plan for irrigation. Maybe they didn't plan to have the combined harvester that will harvest well with dry land to avoid the rice from breaking. So then they couldn't sell. Right. So for us, that's the visibility that we bring. Beyond giving that visibility and building tools for people to like quantify the visibility, we also provide support throughout. Right. So we have people that will go to the farm and actually go monitor. It's still very important because there are instances where people wake up at dawn and then harvest their food before we get there, right? So those things do happen. So people actually go in to physically check the thing to make sure it is there. And then finally, we having overview and control over the cash flow. Because we get over $200 million worth of orders every year, people want to buy already. So if those farmers sell to us, we then help the financial institutions with the platform to then offset, get back their money. So for us, like the main value add when we work with financial institutions is they bring the money, they deploy to our customers off balance sheet because they see the opportunity. We go to work and work very, very hard to make sure the farmers succeed, to make sure that the banks also get their money back. So that it's a win-win partnership for all.
All right.
Farmers grow more food, make more money, banks deploy more capital. We all grow our businesses together.
You make agric sound so sexy. Lots of young people listening will wondering, wow, this is agric and this guy is talking as if he's discussing spaceships. I mean, make your final pitch to young people about the sector because we do know that it has potential in the value chain for many people. yet it's underfunded and possibly slandered as a high-risk sector with not any real technology going on there. You represent one of the poster companies making agric look good again. What's your pitch to young Ghanaians listening to you about the importance of agric and why they should get involved in the value chain?
There's money to be made, but do not ignore the risk. The risk do exist for a reason. But solutions also do exist. Behind every risk is big opportunity. And that's why we are launching a new platform called Just Farm this month. It's an app where all you need to have, everyone comes from a family that has access to some farmland somewhere. If you are a Ghanaian, I'm from Ho, my family has some farmland somewhere or have access to farmland. So everyone has that. So if you're a young person, you've been hearing every day, there's opportunity in agriculture, but the risks are too much. When we launch this Just Farm app, all you have to do is just go to justfarm.ai. Now you can currently go and join the waiting list. You can sign up. And when you sign up with that, when the app is live later in the month and you sign up, you just go to your village, select your village, select the land that is a farming land in your village. You can look at it all through your phone using satellite. And then when you select it, the AI tells you, and it is accurate. It tells you, when we tested all this and checked the science, the AI tells you the crops that you can grow there when you select it. At the end, when you select the area of the land that you own there, to tell you the steps that you need to take to grow, how much that is going to cost you, and then how much potential revenue that you can make. We know this because we have the cost data. Potential revenue, we also know what the market is offering. So truly, you just have all that information up front. And then if you really want to join Farmerline's network, then you sign up. Our team will get in touch and then take you through the KYC process and onboard you, where we co-finance with you. So you bring some money, we bring some money, we grow with you together, where you bring your farm managers, we bring our people onto the ground, and then we help grow the food. And when we grow the food, there's market also waiting. So this Just Farm app is something that is going to help people make a lot of money from agriculture. And all they have to do is to just farm with Farmerline.
This sounds very exciting, and Farmerline are going to be our technology partners for the Agri Fair, which is happening between the 20th and 22nd of the month of June. Aloysius is the co-founder and CEO of Farmerline, who's a great ambassador for technology and agriculture. Aloysius, thank you for talking to us. So that's all we have time for today's edition. Don't forget, the On Air series is brought to you by Absa Bank, MTN, and Zonda Tech. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.